Taliese Fuaga on transition to left tackle and more. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from New Orleans Football. Don't get it twisted. New Orleans Football is where you want to be if you want day-to-day, second-to-second coverage of the New Orleans Saints, especially right now at training camp. Me, I'm in the high-rise luxury penthouse studios in downtown New Orleans. I am not in California. I am not at training camp. But the folks over at New Orleans Football are at training camp. So if you want that kind of detailed day-to-day, second-to-second coverage, go check out their website. Per usual, Nicholas and the gang are doing the Lord's work. Taliese Fuaga, we have not heard much from our first-round pick. We've seen a lot of them. We are Oos. We do acknowledge the tribal chief, but we have not heard from him. We know he's moving from right tackle to left tackle. Right tackle, he played in college at Oregon State, did not allow a sack his senior season. Whew, I can already tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, my brain is firing. You might get some of the best reaction videos you have ever seen. I'm feeling like $1,000,000 right now. It's hard to imagine feeling better, looking better, sounding better than I do right now. Even though Taliese Fuaga is moving from right to left, we haven't heard anything about it. We haven't heard if he's enjoying it. We haven't heard how he feels about it. So today, in this video right here, we are going to hear from Taliese Fuaga.
Well, how's the first week of camp been? Obviously, new position. Have you felt like it's been natural? Has it been kind of a test?
Yeah, definitely a test. Just trying to knock some rust off and just trying to get into my left-handed stance and, pass set, run set. Just trying to get a better feeling over here. So,
friend of mine, I discussed this. A friend of mine was a third-team All-American at Rhodes College. I think he played left tackle. And I asked him whenever he either played left or right. And I asked him whenever Taliese Fuaga was announced that he was going to move. I asked him, how hard would that for you? Like, if you had to do that going into your senior year, how hard would that have been to shift over? And he said for him it would have been very difficult because he was so tuned into that, the first step and the move and all that stuff, and to flip it, he said would have been really, really hard. So different strokes for different folks. Some people can make those adjustments, no problem. Some people are tied into what they are doing. They don't want change. So hopefully Taliese Fuaga is one of those people who it's all the same to him. He's just out there doing his thing, and it's not going to be that big of an adjustment.
How much, translating takes place, like kind of going from side to side? Like, is it getting natural? But like, what is kind of like, the mental process of that?
I don't think there's like a lot to it. It's just knowing your assignment, really. It goes from 9 to 8 and 8 to 9. Really, just know your numbers and know what is left and right. So
that's good. So exactly what we're talking about. So Nick Underhill is who asked that question. Fuaga could have said that it's difficult, moving from this foot to that foot, or from, this feeling this to feeling that. But he didn't go there at all. He basically said, look, the only thing I got to think about is the play, hearing it, hearing 9, hearing 8, hearing left, hearing right, whatever, and knowing the assignment. So it sounds like the physical components of it are dialed in. And that's probably the most concerning part when you hear a flip from right to left like that. You wonder physically, how's it going to translate? But it sounds like Taliese Fuaga has had absolutely no issue physically moving around.
And just playing with different guys, you got some rotation at that guard spot. What's that like?
No, I haven't really got rotation.
No, you playing with different guys, like on the side. Like, is it communication? Like, I don't know. Like, do you have to learn how to communicate with different guys? And
I'll tell you this right now. This isn't how you acknowledge the tribal chief. Anytime you got to, this is a situation where Nick could have been powerbombed through a table right there. Could have been one of those situations where, jackknife powerbomb, could have been, Samoan drop, anything like that could have been possible. Luckily, Taliese Fuaga kind of went with it. Question was, you're playing with different guards now. When you're on the right, you're playing with the right guard, or next to the right guard. Playing on the left, playing next to the left guard. Taliese Fuaga is so new. He's so new to this situation. He's obviously a rookie, so he probably could care less. He doesn't know. He played next to Cesar Ruiz for 20 minutes. Got shifted over. Who cares, right? When you're a rookie, you're getting in there. You're getting involved. I don't think he could care. He could care less who's a left guard or who's a right guard?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say everybody kind of communicates very well in this O-line. You know, everybody's like well taught, and I don't think we really have a problem talking out there. So,
I guess what has been the biggest thing you have learned in this last week or so?
I think really just learning the level of competition you're going against. I don't think there's really a big difference in the playbook wise. You know, it's just every day I'm trying to learn a little bit more and more in the playbook, but I think the quality of the reps is kind of like learning different things with different players. So.
Last week, I think Eric said that you were a dog. He said that you're the best rookie offensive lineman that he's ever played with. Just your thoughts on just hearing Eric say that about you. He said he didn't want to tell you that much because he didn't want to
yeah.
think it's too big.
You know, I love Eric because he's like a big brother to me right now. I think
Eric McCoy is going to have to be the leader of that offensive line. Eric McCoy, whether he wants to or not, he is going to have to step into that Ryan Ramczyk role. He's going to have to be the guy. He's going to have to be the main leader. I mean, when you really think about it, 3 spots on this offensive line between Taliese Fuaga, Trevor Penning, and Nick Saldiveri, if he ends up being the left guard, you got 3 brand new starters. 2 of the 3, are really all 3, are basically rookies. So it's going to be up to McCoy and Cesar Ruiz, but it's going to be up to McCoy to really take a step forward in just his leadership and in his own development.
the whole line really is big brothers to me. Just being able to like hear that from a guy like that, it's just a blessing. So I'm just trying to not really listen to it, but listen to it at the same time and just play my game. So.
Hey, what have been your thoughts on Chase Young going against the line? What have been your early thoughts on him?
Wild question. I mean, you get, crazy question. You get your first round pick. You get your first round pick, and a minute 50 seconds in, and he drops. Hey, what about Chase Young though? I mean, again, this could have been easily a power bomb or Samoan spike response.
I think he's a great player. He plays with some speed and power. He has like a lot of different tools he could use. He's a big dude. I ain't really seen players like that in college, so it's just.
It's kind of crazy. Everyone has said that so far. Every reporter I've heard, every player I've heard talk, and just anyone, whether it's a reporter, a player, coach, whatever, they've all said Chase Young is really, really big. And they've all said that Chase Young is way bigger than they thought he'd be. I saw Chase Young at a Pelicans game from a couple rows off. He was walking through, sitting courtside. I didn't think, granted, you're a couple rows off, and this is before he had neck surgery, I think. And he didn't look like huge, huge, but apparently he is an enormous guy.
It's a blessing to go against a guy like that. He's good.
Yeah, just watching from the sideline, it does seem like that size, even at the defensive end position, is different. Is that when you kind of line up against that, obviously just the last 2 days in terms of team drills, is there, do you have to kind of lock in a little bit more when you see it?
Yeah, I'd say you got to lock in, but it's just being able to just go out there and just play your game.
So I've talked about this. Well, I'll let him keep going.
Just a mentality, I would say.
I've talked about it before, but the fact that this offense has to practice against what probably is a top 10 or top 5 defense, that is huge. Like, this offense has a big learning curve. Everybody learning Kubiak, all of Kubiak's offense, the rookies learning what they're learning on top of learning a new position. The fact that they have to do it against what we would all assume is a top 10 defense in the NFL, a top 10 defense with a chip on their shoulder, a top 10 defense who's pissed off after last year, like, these are real reps. Like what Taliese Fuaga is talking about, he's getting real reps out there. The fact that he's going against Carl Granderson or Cam Jordan or Chase Young, as he's not only learning the NFL, not only is he's learning the NFL, but the fact that he's learning, a new position is crazy.
Wow, moment, kind of like your eyes kind of get big when you see how, wow, this guy's a big dude I'm lining up against.
It's definitely like, wow, this is Chase Young, or like Carl Granderson, or wow, this is Cam Jordan. But at the end of the day, I just got to play my game. It's like,
am I on another level or am I on another level? Am I on another level? I mean, it just is, it's really shocking. It honestly is shocking. Every day, what do I say? I come out here and I just, you're going against Cam Jordan, going against Chase Young, going against Carl Granderson. Then Taliese Fuaga, boom, spits out the exact same three. I mean, just out of control.
Like a boxer's mentality, you can't really be afraid of anybody.
Have you learned anything about yourself? Just getting the pads on, having to block these guys, anything like that?
No, I really haven't learned anything really too much about myself that I already know. Just trying to take one play at a time and just have a boxer's mentality, like I just said. So.
I love that. I love that answer. I didn't learn nothing. He said, I didn't learn nothing I didn't already know about myself. I'm ready to roll. Taliese Fuaga, what a man. I mean, that's a hell of an answer. Has there been any personal growth? Have you learned anything about yourself in the first couple of weeks of camp? No, absolutely not. That's just that island mentality, man. I know exactly what he's talking about.
McCoy saying that, like, you're the best offensive line, rookie offensive line he's ever seen. Like, does it feel like to you that you're having that good of a camp, or like how does this feel?
It's actually a good question. So, good question here. I don't know if you're going to hear the sirens, Gotham City, but good question because, when you are a rookie, and Taliese Fuaga certainly is, he probably doesn't know, like, okay, what is good, what is bad. He's just doing what he's doing. So to hear other people like Eric McCoy or whoever say, like, this guy's incredible, this guy's this guy's that, it is a good question to know, like, because sometimes you can feel it, right? Sometimes you can feel when you're like that flow state, you can feel things are rolling and you feel like you're just out there crushing it. But sometimes you're just kind of winging it and you're hoping you're doing good, but you really don't know.
I heard it, and I really am thankful for that, and I really appreciate Eric because Eric's a great player, and just getting that is a blessing. But for myself, I listen to it. I'm very thankful, and I just kind of put it away just because I know I got to get better.
I guess, yeah, just from a confidence standpoint, or like do you feel like you're having the type of camp that would warrant that conversation?
I definitely say that, yeah. Just because I see myself, just learning how to get better and better each day, which Lucas Patrick, try to tell me. So, just trying to get better.
And how has that kind of continuity developed? Obviously, Nick wasn't out there today, but that 5-man group has been pretty consistent throughout the offseason. How have you seen that grow from OTAs mini camps now?
Just being able to create a chemistry in the O-line room. I think when we have meetings and stuff, we're definitely a lock-in sort of mentality, but we always like to have fun and just learn about each other, learn who's from where, because it's we're all from the United States and all from different kind of places, and we all come to a room, and it's fun to have, but just being able to have that chemistry is just it's a good feeling.
Gotcha.
Good. They need culture. They need something. They need some cohesiveness because as of right now, there's none of that on the offensive line. So the fact that they're at least trying to create some kind of a bond, some kind of a unit, is music to my ears. Any uptick of a trend that could lead a major change to a global financial government? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this right now. The only finances we care about are over-unders, side bets, regular season win totals, who's running at Saratoga, is the track fast and firm, and then after Saratoga's done running, guess what? Boom, we're in Del Mar. We're betting Del Mar races. That's the kind of finances I care about. I care about regular season wins over 7.5 for the New Orleans Saints. I care about Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets to win the AFC. I care about the Cincinnati Bengals to win the AFC. I care about Paul Skeens to win the Cy Young. I've got that at a heavy futures ticket. That's how we roll.
We've heard Derek kind of talk about the group and how Eric has developed as a leader. Obviously, this is your first year. You weren't playing with him last year or whatever, but how has he been as a leader? Has he kind of really taken charge of that room?
Yeah, I'd say he has like a leadership kind of voice when he talks to the whole kind of group, whether it's meetings, whether it's practice, he's out there and just trying to be able to pump everybody up and just put everybody into that mentality that, hey, we're not losing today, we're not losing this down, we're not losing this play. Everybody do their assignment and we're going to have a good drive.
So, I mean, how important is that? Just to have someone who is kind of that established leader where it's like, okay, the buck kind of stops here. Is that something that benefits an offensive line?
I definitely think it benefits the O-line. I think it just because it
benefits the entire team. That's another thing that cannot be understated when people are like, no, Jake Hayner should start. You want to have a leader of your offense. You want to have a leader of the locker room. In the NFL, you want to be a quarterback. You want your quarterback to be the guy that everyone turns to, whether it's halftime, pregame, practice, training camp, on the plane, whatever. having an unknown, who's the leader, who's going to speak, all that is a problem, especially for a team who's trying to get things together like the New Orleans Saints. So I love that Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr wants to have that role. I think Derek Carr thrives in that role. So I love the fact that Derek has kind of let last season kind of go off his back, and he is the leader.
O-line, what my mentality is, like, it starts up front. You know what I mean? So as long as the O-line, we're all set and we're all into that mentality of, hey, we're going to win every single play, and I think the whole offense just gets a whole, thing rolling. So
True and real.
else?
There you go. That's Taliese Fuaga. That's the first I've heard. That's the first I have heard his voice. First round pick. First I've heard the guy's voice, and I love what I hear. I like the fact that he gets in there, he's talking, he's listening, he's answering these questions. He's not trying to be polished, or he's not trying to be PR. He's not trying to say all this pretty stuff. He's saying how he feels, and that's it. He wants to just pull. He wants to just blow somebody up. He wants to just do his job. That's it. Get better, do his job. Love what I hear. I mean, guys, like, again, don't try and make it too complicated. This is a left tackle, first round pick. I don't care if he is seeing something inside of himself that he hadn't seen before. All I care about is that he's going to protect Derek Carr. All I care about is he's going to impact the run game positively. That's it. He doesn't need to wax poetic. So love these answers from Taliese Fuaga.